Last time on Quiet Night, Scheherazad walked into a palace where brides went to die. She asked the Sultan one favor: let her sister sleep in the same room. One last night together, and then in the darkest hour before dawn, her sister whispered, "Tell me a story." The Sultan, lying awake in the dark, said one word: willingly. And so Scheherazad began. This is what she told him. There was once a wealthy merchant, not a king, not a prince, just a man of business. Land, goods, money, trade. The kind of man who traveled often and traveled light. One such journey took him far from home, through a stretch of desert where no food and no shelter could be found. He packed what he needed, a few biscuits, some dates, his horse, and set off. He made it through without trouble, finished his business, turned back for home. But on the 4th day of the return journey, the sun was brutal. He spotted shade near a large walnut tree with a clear spring running at its base. He tied his horse, sat down, ate a simple meal, and tossed the date stones aside as he finished. The way you do, without thinking, without looking, without a second thought. Then he washed his hands at the spring. That is when he saw it, a massive figure coming toward him, white with fury, a scimitar raised in one hand, a genie, and it was coming fast.
Get up, so I can kill you, the way you killed my son.
The merchant went cold. He had never seen this creature before in his life. He had never hurt anyone. He had simply sat under a tree, eaten some dates, and tossed the stones aside. He said exactly that.
What are you talking about? I have never seen your son. I have never hurt anyone.
When you sat down, you threw your date stones around without a care. My son was passing by. One struck him in the eye. He died. So now, you die.
Every word of it, but the genie was not. Every word of it, but the genie was not interested in excuses. This was not cruelty. This was grief. A father who had lost his child to a careless stranger. And in his mind, accident or not, someone had to answer for it. He seized the merchant by the arm and raised the blade. The merchant had one last idea.
Wait, please. Give me 1 year. Let me go home. Say goodbye to my wife and children. Put my affairs in order. I swear on my honor, I will come back to this exact spot and give myself to you willingly.
You will not come back.
I will. I give you my word.
Something about the oath held weight, even with a creature like this. Perhaps the genie understood grief well enough to recognize genuine sincerity when he heard it. Perhaps he simply could not imagine any human being foolish enough to keep such a promise. Either way, he agreed. 1 year, then vanished into the air. The merchant rode home, but there was no joy in his return. His family ran out to meet him and found a man hollowed out by grief. He told them everything, the accident, the genie, the promise he had made. They wept for a long time, but the merchant was a man of his word. Over the following year, he settled every debt, provided for his family, gave what he could to those who had less, and said his goodbyes slowly and deliberately, like a man who knows exactly what is coming. When the year ended, he rode back to the tree. Alone, he sat by the spring and waited. The desert was silent, the sun was high, and the merchant sat with the particular stillness of a man who has already made his peace. Then, in the distance, movement, an old man, walking slowly up the road, leading a small deer on a short cord. He was old. He walked with the careful pace of someone who had been walking a very long time, and beside him, on a short lead, was a deer. Not a strange thing to see in a market or a farm, but out here, in the middle of nowhere, with no village for miles, it made you wonder, why a deer? Why here? Why alone? The old man saw the merchant sitting there, in the middle of the desert, looking like a man already halfway dead, and stopped. He asked what had brought him to such a desolate place. The merchant told him. The old man sat down beside him without hesitation. "I want to see this for myself," he said simply. A second old man arrived not long after. He was leading 2 large black dogs on leashes. Same question, same answer. He sat down beside them without a word of explanation for why he was walking through a desert with 2 dogs and nowhere to be. Then a third old man arrived. No explanation for him either. The 4 of them sat together in silence near the spring, a merchant waiting to die. 3 strangers who had appeared from nowhere and chosen, without being asked, to wait with him. Nobody spoke. The desert offered nothing but heat and silence and the sound of the spring. And then the smoke came, a dark column of it, rising out of nowhere, churning toward them, then gone. And there was the genie, exactly as promised, sword already drawn, crossing straight toward the merchant. All 4 men went pale.
Get up, it is time.
And then the first old man stepped forward, the one with the deer. He planted himself between the merchant and the genie's blade, looked up at the creature towering above him, and spoke.
"Wait. Before you do this, hear me out. Let me tell you my story, the story of me and this animal. If you find it more extraordinary than what this merchant has done to you, spare him a third of his punishment."
The genie was still for a long moment, a creature of fury and grief, considering the request of a frail old man standing between him and his vengeance. Then, "Fine, tell it." And so the old man began. What he said next is a story inside a story, one you will not see coming. That is next time on Quiet Night.